There's a new report circulating the interwebs claiming to know how the MCU will bring the Fantastic Four into that cinematic universe. And the crazy thing is, the report seems legit.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Sean Patton. Indeed, David Harbour will be playing the Red Guardian in the Black Widow movie. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? I'm Josh. Welcome back to the Den and happy Friday to you. You made it through another work week. We did it. Now, it's been a pretty crazy week. We've covered a lot of the stuff that came out from San Diego Comic-Con last weekend all throughout this week here on the channel. So maybe go make sure you didn't miss anything, or if there's some stuff you're interested in, we have probably talked about it here. And I was looking at a lot of different things because we haven't actually touched on every single thing. I was kind of thinking about what do I want to do for the Friday show, and I wanted to talk Fantastic Four, and there is actually a rumor out there about how the MCU will bring the Fantastic Four, into that cinematic universe. So I want to get to that. So when I say the name Cosmic Book News, that probably doesn't inspire a lot of trust from you. I mean, this is a website that does a lot of clickbait, and even worse than putting up their own clickbait, they will actually go aggregate other clickbait and sort of just recycle clickbait from other sources. And normally I would never cover a report from Cosmic Book News and consider it to be truthful at all, but this report is a little bit different. This is actually an exclusive from them, that they have somebody on staff who heard from a source this direct thing. The guy's name is Matt McGloin, and we're gonna see here, guys, because either way here, we're gonna know that maybe he's got an actual scoop, and then we can start to maybe think about some of the things that this guy publishes, or it's total crap, and just again, like Matt McGloin and Cosmic Book News, we're just gonna have to kind of, unfortunately look down at them and face the reality that they're really not a reliable source for these kind of things. But I am talking about this report, and there's a couple of reasons why I actually do believe this report has some validity to it. But enough of all that, let's just get into it. So you're wondering, what is this thing? So the idea here, and this is what Matt McGloin is hearing from his source at Marvel, is that the Fantastic Four in the MCU will sort of take a page out of the Captain America book. And you'll see what I mean in a second. But apparently, they will coexist around the time of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. This would be in the 60s or 70s, depending on how Marvel wants to do it. But back when young Michael Douglas was rocking around as Hank Pym, the Ant-Man, yeah, that's the time when the Fantastic Four in the MCU started. But you might be like, okay, well, where the heck have they been, man? Where have they been all this time? We haven't heard anything about the Fantastic Four. No, it would be weird if they weren't around. Well, Marvel's explanation for this, according to Matt McGloin, is that they will be trapped in the negative zone. So something's gonna happen in the timeline of the 60s or 70s. These characters will be trapped in the negative zone, and then when they come out, it is the present day, and they actually haven't aged at all. And so you see, the taking of the page out of the Captain America book is that they'll have this fish out of water, man out of time kind of situation. Now, I actually think this would be brilliant, and it could really, really work for the Fantastic Four, and I'll get into that speculation in a second here, but let me first explain what other pieces of evidence are out there that are actually making me think this report could be true. So number one, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas said this very interesting thing before Avengers Endgame, where he said that he believed that the quantum realm would have a large thing to do with all the stories for all the Marvel characters in the next phase. He said something to the effect of like, yeah, the quantum realm, as far as I know, is going to play a role in all of these characters' stories where they go next. And at the time, one of the weirdest things about this was like, why would he even know this? Like, why would Michael Douglas know this? How could, he have this kind of information? Well, I think Feige may have told him this to get him excited. Like, one of the things that Feige is really good at is sharing news with people, giving actors and people in the creative side of the industry enough information to keep them excited about things that are coming. And particularly if Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer are actually going to be in the Fantastic Four movie, and we're gonna have like maybe our John Krasinski and our de-aged Michael Douglas, start the movie off as young men, and then boom, in the middle of the movie or early in the first act, they come out of the negative zone and it's young John Krasinski and old Michael Douglas. Yeah, if they're gonna be going that way, then it would make sense that Feige would have told Michael Douglas about that. And that is perhaps why he told us about that while doing the stuff for Endgame. Another reason that I believe this report, or I at least think that there's something to this, is because of the weirdness with the quantum realm and the blip. So, with Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, there's a lot of weirdness going on with the multiverse, with multiple dimensions, different versions of characters. And so I believe that they have sort of set the stage for something like the negative zone, perhaps to be connected to the quantum realm, connected to the blip, connected to the events of Avengers Endgame, and therefore an easier pill for Marvel fans to swallow with, as far as an explanation for where the Fantastic Four have been. Like, the MCU does this. It's really brilliant at sort of folding its canon upon itself, making everything sort of self-referential. It's part of the charm, it's part of the winning formula. And the last reason that I think that I'm kind of believing this report here is because it just makes sense from a storytelling perspective. And this is where we get into some of the speculation. So I think it's brilliant to have the Fantastic Four start in the 60s, really pay a lot of homage to Stan Lee, to the early Fantastic Four, what the Fantastic Four was back then. And I absolutely love the idea of taking those characters, putting them in the negative zone of the quantum realm for a second, and then boom, they're just out in the present. They haven't experienced a lot of time, I don't think, so it would be this weird time displacement thing. But what you would be able to do is juxtapose old school 60s family values versus 2019, 2020, new age, internet, millennial craziness that we have in society now. I mean, a lot of that fun happens with Captain America, but even if you think about from where we were at in the second Captain America moving on from now, like, the world's changing even more. So it'd be really interesting to show this new world, this really, really accelerated world, and juxtapose it against like old school Richard Reed's kind of philosophies. It honestly feels like the perfect combo. And I think we should mention too that Peyton Reed did pitch a couple of Fantastic Four movies to Kevin Feige. He has an idea for the film, and he did say, I think in one interview at least, that he wanted the Fantastic Four to take place during the 60s. And so what an awesome way to combo these two different ideas. I think it would be brilliant. So that's pretty much the biggest reason why I'm starting to believe this report. Now, like I said, this report is either like totally accurate and this dude got an actual scoop, which is crazy, or it's just completely fabricated. So we should know soon, because what I think is happening is, if this report is legit, the reason this guy got this scoop is because they're working towards announcing this, maybe at D23, maybe early next year, maybe interweaving this into some kind of movie for next year or a Disney Plus show. Yeah, if it's accurate, I believe he's like on the cusp of a big kind of announcement here. So maybe Fantastic Four is revealed at D23, and maybe this scoop is right. But that's the news out there, guys. Scoop coming from cosmicbooknews.com. Is this an actual scoop on their thing? That's absolutely craziness. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Also want to tell you guys, again, there's just a lot of crazy content on the channel this week. We talked about a lot of different things when it came to Marvel's Phase 4, so go back and check out some videos if you missed them. Now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what year was it in Avengers Endgame where Tony Stark meets his father? Love that scene. It was really cool, moments between father and son. But the question remains, what year was that when Tony went back in time and met his dad? Answer that question in the comments section below. But I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.